weird. Hey, everybody. Welcome to THS Discourse. Tonight we're going to be talking about how nutty my brain is today. I took a nap earlier. I want to make sure to tell everybody this. I woke up at 3:38 p.m. and I woke up and I thought it was 3:38 p.m. Wednesday. I'm like, holy shit! Did the kids miss the whole day of school? That's what I thought like immediately, and it was like a 30-minute nap. But anyway, and then of course I'm just done today. So welcome to the show. We've got another good one for you. We're going to continue Zombie Month as we talk about the third movie of, I guess the series. It's a series for sure. I just don't consider them all intertwined into one thing. The Day of the Dead, George A. Romero's, actually Tom Savini's masterpiece, in my opinion. I love it. It's my I think it's the best of the series. Not my favorite, of course. Dawn of the Dead is my favorite. I think that's except for Seth, that's pretty much everybody else's. We've got a bunch of people chiming in. First, I want to introduce Superman Seth T. Miller, who needs a name for his own channel. We've got Zombie Boy over here, Jared something or other. There we go. That's his given name, by the way, Jared something or other. And then we've got the man himself, who has got like at least all his printer ink this past weekend, printing out promos for VHS movies. Nathan Thomas Miller, cool stuff for sure, man. I gotta say, if I had a printer at all, I would do it, but I don't. I gave up my printer a couple years ago. My daughter dropped some dimes in there, and we couldn't get them out. And I was like, screw it, let's throw it away. Lost some dimes. Anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody's doing okay? I'm in a weird mood, so bear with me. Jared, how you doing?
Pretty good. Just got off work, so I had to fly over here.
I bought this new hat this past weekend. Nearly bought a Royals hat. But I said, fuck Jared. No.
I actually used to have a Pittsburgh Pirates hat. I don't mind them.
Well, I'm wearing this because of the Dead movies were all filmed around Pittsburgh. So that's actually not why I'm wearing it, but we got a bunch of people commenting in.
Sounds good though.
Yeah. Everybody who is here, we welcome you. We want to thank you for stopping by. Nate, say hi to the lovely people.
Hi, lovely people.
What are some of your favorite zombie flicks? We can answer that before we get into it. Seth, what are some of your favorite zombie flicks? Non-Romero, real fast.
Return of the Living Dead for sure.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead remake. Hey, it's not Romero.
That's true. The Day of the Dead remake.
Train to Busan.
Yes.
That was fucking incredible.
Definitely.
Anyone who wants to answer the question in the comments below? What are your favorite non-Romero zombie flicks? Jared, Nate, which one you guys fight for?
Did they say one-off or non-Romero?
This is one-off, but
okay.
Children still play with dead things. I want to know non-Romero.
It's complicated, but I love the Wreck series and the 28 Days Later series. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they count. There's a movie called Dead Girl that was really interesting, a different take on zombies. It came out about 13 years ago.
What's Dead Air? Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah, that's the. Is that the British series?
I've never heard of it.
Or Dead Set. I'm thinking of Dead Set. Dead Set is a British series. It was pretty good. Dead Air sounds familiar. There's one I like. It's kind of silly. It's called Hide and Creep.
Hide and Creep. That's a cool name.
Yeah, it was like a comedy zombie redneck kind of movie.
Mm-hmm. Brian, nobody's going to fight here. I think we all agree. 28 Days Later is a zombie flick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it almost follows Dawn of the Dead by scene, almost.
Yeah,
they stop at a gas station to get gas. They get at the gas station. They go into a place where they get attacked by a child zombie. They go on a shopping spree that's lighthearted. They end up getting in a fight with an army. So there's got my
Dead Air with Bill Moseley.
maybe I didn't see that one then.
I'll throw on Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Jared will probably say
Zombie.
okay, yeah.
Full
I thought you were
cheese.
going to say Shockwaves. But then there's also a movie with Elijah Wood and Rainn Wilson called Cooties. Have you guys ever seen that? The Zombie Kids. That movie's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Is there anything else before we go? Let's go. I think that Nat helped me out.
Thank you for mentioning zombies. Shockwaves. There's a couple of funny ones. Like everybody leans towards Shaun of the Dead, but there's another British one that's fucking hilarious called Cockneys versus Zombies.
What about Fido? Did anybody ever see that one? Fido, Fido.
Yes.
Fido.
Yeah.
There's one called Dead Meat that I remember liking. It was a British one. It's like a British Hunter Thompson in that movie. I remember.
That's cool. Well, there's one that's Anton Yelchin burying the ex. It's kind of a zombie movie. His girlfriend dies, and she comes back as a zombie, and it's his best friend and stuff. It's a fun one, I think.
Zombie Lake. Oh my God, he's bringing out some bad ones.
he's doing some dumpster diving. It sounds like Burial Ground. Yeah, I mean,
toxic zombies. Like we can go on for days.
Yeah, swamp zombies. So anyway, we're here to talk about Day of the Dead. So let's kind of get into it. And with Romero Zombie movies, there's really the big three, and then everything else. I mean, I do like Land of the Dead quite a bit. I did like Diary of the Dead, but not so much Survival of the Dead. And Seth and I were talking about it before you guys jumped on. Land of the Dead's kind of the end of all of this. Scott, get out of here with that. Warm bodies. But yeah, Survival of the Dead was boring. Diary of the Dead was different in a way at the time. I guess because that came out around the same time as Paranormal Activity, I think, and as after Blair Witch Project, so it was kind of like a found footage, but not really. But anyway, Land of the Dead to me was underrated in a way. And so, yeah, it just I feel like it would have been more well received if it came out earlier, closer to Day of the Dead. But I don't know. We'll talk about Land of the Dead next week. But Day of the Dead, man, what a fucking opening scene, right? Let's jump right into that opening scene if you don't mind. Where she's in the bedroom or in the room, whatever it is. Looks at the calendar, all the dates are crossed off, and then all like I remember the first time I saw that because I didn't see this one until I was probably when that DVD I showed last week came out, 22 maybe 23, and those hands come through the wall. I was 23 years old, and I literally had a soda in my hand. I went like that and got all over myself. I had to pause the movie because I didn't expect that to happen. First time I ever saw it. What about you guys? First experiences.
I don't remember mine.
It's weird how we remember certain movies, landmark movies for sure, but then there's others we don't remember. But the only reason I remember that is because of I had friends there too who had made fun of me after that for a while, so that was fun. But
I think the thing I remember most of the first time seeing it was just the level of grotesque gore in it. Just like I think when that zombie's guts spill over.
Yeah.
Out of the table, and then he drills him in the head. I mean, whoa, this is fucking brutal. Like everything about it, like it was just an elevated level of violence.
Dude, the best part about the Romero, there's like it gets more and more gory each movie. It's like the makeup design gets better and better up to Day of the Dead, and that's this one, man. It's like I said earlier, it's Savini's masterpiece, I mean, these are some of the best effects, even to this day, you've ever seen on screen. Especially the one with the head, like it was the missing the head. It was like they had the things attached to the brain. It was still moving. The
lab, yeah,
man, that was crazy shit. I mean, Savini was out of his mind. doing that movie. Hey, Luke, how you doing? Yeah. Anyway, Nate, you just watched it today, right?
Yeah, I was struggling to find time. Oh shit, I haven't watched it. But I just finished it maybe 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, Justice League kept me from watching it. I'm not gonna lie, I've been all about DC movies ever since Justice League came out, but I've seen Day of the Dead like 1,000 times, so
yeah.
It's one of those ones that I do go back to continuously because of how much I like it. But so, the things I take away from this movie, I mean, we kind of touched on it last week, and then this is something I wanted to I thought about in the car ride home before I fell asleep and forgot what day it was, where the characters are very forgettable with the exception of two characters, where Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead have better characters and even better acting. Who sticks out in this one for you guys?
Oh, Dr. Logan.
Yeah.
Rhodes and Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And Bub. Yeah, because like the whole cast of Dawn of the Dead is very strong, in my opinion. The same thing with Night of the Living Dead. You know, we had a great conversation about who was in the right between Cooper and Ben. I mean, there's the same question is I don't remember the female lead's name. Lori, maybe. I think that's her real name.
It's her real name. It's shit. What is her real name in the movie? I don't remember. I just watched it.
I'll bring it up. Yeah, I don't think her name gets mentioned very often, except for by the two guys that are living out in the trailer, behind the base.
Yeah,
Sarah.
Flyboy version 2.2.
Yeah.
Her name was Sarah.
Was it Sarah? Sarah Connor? Yes. Yeah, Lori. Yeah, because her dad was one of the reporter for Night of the Living Dead. But anyway, yeah, like. See, I can't remember her name. That's all. I mean, Rhodes is an unforgettable character because of so much that happened. I mean, he's always yelling. He's completely wrong, and choke on him. That's one of the best lines ever. Choke on him. But yeah, and then Dr. Frankenstein. But who do you think's right, Rhodes or Lori? Or Lori? God, Sarah. That was the question.
I mean, Rhodes is like, on a Napoleon power trip.
Yeah.
He's not. I mean, you got to understand like why he gets angry. I mean, they're feeding his men to playing with his men. I mean, I'd imagine he would be pissed. I think he's right in that way. I don't know about murdering people for it, but I don't know. I mean. When does he's a military serving his duty and he's in charge and that's, he takes it seriously. But at the same time, it's like, well, what's the point at this point? Like, and like, if these people don't make an advancement, like, then you have no reason to even be there.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, science takes time and he's just impatient. And I mean, how long is he? I mean, I guess he hasn't been in charge very long because his boss, like the last guy, was like fresh corpse, right? So,
yeah, like right before the meeting started.
This guy takes power, and like within 24 hours, he's fucking like taking over the world. It's like, I'm the boss, I'm making the rules, and everything comes crumbling down. So, yeah, bad leader. So yeah, he's not right.
Yeah, I wasn't the one on the table that spilled his guts. Wasn't he the guy in charge before that?
I think that's the one missing the head, isn't it? That's
okay. Yeah. I knew it was one of those. Yeah. Yeah. Rhodes has got incredible power trip. Well, it's his turn in charge, so now it's going to be his rule. And I guess the guy before him worked well with. He's got a real name, Dr. Frankenstein. I can never remember what his name is though.
Logan. Dr. Logan. I don't know if they ever mentioned
Logan. Yeah.
Logan's insane as well, though, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, is he? Because he's kind of onto something.
Kind of the pure definition of a lab rat,
Wasn't there
dives in and lives in his work?
Wasn't there like recordings of him like he's talking to his mother or something? Like when they find, I think Is it when they find Nicotero's head? Or like, it seems like there's tapes of Logan talking, and it sounds like he's talking to an imaginary mother or person.
I don't remember that.
That's what I caught today. Am I wrong? Am I imagining that? Am I going crazy?
No, I think you're right. I think there was something a little bit later on in the movie that kind of like hinted at something wasn't quite right with Dr. Logan.
Sorry, I switched you guys around because you can see the logo better on Jared's screen because it's got a whiteboard. Anyway, I have to look for that next time I watch it again. He was certifiable, but at the same time, he was on to something because I mean he taught Bub a lot, you know, and Bub was remembering it at least. I mean, think about he's trying to shave and he's peeling the skin off of his face. He puts on the headphones and the music. You know, he even fucking salutes Rhodes twice. Salutes him after he kills him.
I think the second time was more of a fuck you because he didn't salute him back.
See, even Bub knew what sarcasm was. A zombie of all things.
You know, I get a lot of vibes from Logan. I don't know what the actor's name is, but in his performance, it's funny because it was like the same year of Jeffrey Combs in he reminds me of Jeffrey Combs a lot. Same kind of voice, the fast talking, the intellect. He even kind of resembles Jeffrey a little bit.
An older version of Jeffrey's with character. Oh God, I can't remember his name now. What's wrong with me today?
Herbert West.
Yeah, God, Mr. West. Yeah.
Name of the book by H.P. Lovecraft.
I'm sorry. I'm looking up that character's name now. The actor.
Richard Liberty.
Yeah. Richard Liberty.
He was in The Crazies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
His acting wasn't nearly as over the top in The Crazies as it was in this one. But I think that was kind of the vibe he was going for.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was the father in The Crazies, right? The rape.
Yeah.
Luke says he thinks Bub was an anomaly. I don't know because this bleeds over into Land of the Dead, where all the zombies are starting to adapt or not adapt. What's the word?
He was put in a position to learn and to grow, whereas the others weren't. But even the other ones are showing signs of humanity, like when they turn the lights out or when they chain the two up, and they look genuinely sad and upset that they're chained up. So
that was interesting. That's one of the things. The evolution of the zombie, I guess, is what Romero's going for with Day of the Dead and in the Land of the Dead.
Well, even with Dawn of the Dead too. I mean, it was a natural progression throughout his movies. With each one, you know, with of course, Night of the Living Dead was the catalyst, but with Dawn of the Dead, they were going to the mall on instinct, you know, because that's what they remember.
Right. And then the zombie at the end takes what's his name's gun, Peter's gun, and he like trades it in. Yeah, I mean that's got to be something too. Yeah,
that makes me think of what's that show Daybreak? It was on Netflix, or
that's a good show.
They keep repeating the last line or thing they said before they died.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a sale on Lululemon's pants or something. They're going to the mall.
That's a really underrated show, guys.
I love that show.
It's good. Yeah,
it pisses me off. It got canceled because I binged that and loved it.
Yep, I did too. It was good and set up for a good second season. Daybreak. Seriously, if you guys have Netflix, check it out. It should still be on there. So, of course, a Netflix casualty. It works okay as a one season too, but it should have been multiple seasons.
It does kind of have a full circle ending, and although it has that cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously, just like everything else, it's influenced from Romero because all zombie stuff is influenced from his work anyway, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, placed in the mall.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at you're right. Yeah. And if you look at shows like The Walking Dead, I mean, the way the zombies look are based off of this movie, you know. Even though I really do like the way the zombies looked in Dawn of the Dead, looking powder blue or whatever.
Although the zombies in this one kind of, it's almost like Rick Baker got there first because they kind of look like the Thriller zombies a little bit.
Yeah, well, even earlier, I mean, some of the like Lucio Fulci's terracotta zombies, because he used terracotta to make their faces and
Yeah.
around and things like that, they started having the more rotten look, which I like a lot better. I guess Tom Savini may have just done it better. Yeah, I didn't think about Thriller. You're right, because they're all straight from the grave, and
They were good looking zombies.
yeah, they
really
were
in the Thriller video.
Yeah, and that's my. I think that might that might actually be my first experience ever with zombies. Is the Thriller video? Now that I think about it,
I think mine as well. Yeah.
yeah. And of course, I had the making of Thriller on VHS. Watch that shit all the time. So we get to watch zombies dancing around. That's the one thing that this movie doesn't have is dancing zombies. What's up with that? Yeah, but I don't know what are some of the things that really stand out on this one? I mean, we talked about Rhodes being an asshole and everything, and Frankenstein being crazy, and of course, Bub. Is there anything that really stands out and makes this one stand out from the two?
Oh, John's speech really stands out. The whole thing about God, we got too big for our britches, and God's tired of us trying to figure his shit out.
Yeah,
like putting us being punished by our creator. I thought that was some really. There's those commentaries that George has. Even like the line where Frankenstein says they need to be rewarded. If they're rewarded, they'll behave like we were when we were promised something. So I was like, well, I mean, he's talking about religion. We're promised heaven, so we'll stay in line and obey and do what we're told. Or we're promised the American dream. If we work hard and apply ourselves, we can all be rich and famous and do well, which is a bullshit thing they sell everybody in America to keep working and do what you're told and stay in line. So he's playing with a lot of different themes in this one, as far as trying to control humanity, conform or because that's what they're doing. They're trying. I mean, both sides are. I mean, the military is doing that, but also Logan trying to form these zombies to do what he tells them to do and reward them for it. And, it's a lot of. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in that one. And then just the whole thing. I think he talked about how it's almost like a reflection of Congress and the government, how they just can't. It's almost like the Democrats and the Republicans, where they can't see how they just can't work together, and they're both, just always. I mean, they're constantly fighting this whole movie.
Yeah.
Like the whole time. There's always a conflict.
Anytime they're in that big lunchroom, they're all. That's it. That's a big fight. It's time to fight. It's not time to figure out what's going on. Try to work together. It's time to fucking argue.
And you're never going to progress with if it's just with that. You're not listening. I don't have to listen because I'm in control. I'm in command, and and what do you do? So
who's the Republicans? And
you can figure that one out.
I think it's pretty obvious. But yeah, I agree with that. Luke brings up the isolation, which I mean, and the claustrophobia. I mean, they're in a cave. Even filming the movie, it's filmed in that well, not a cave, but
a mining.
Yeah,
it's a mine.
Yeah, it's a mine, like the mines of Moria. But yeah, I mean that dude, it's not like Day of the Dead, but the isolation from being quarantined last year, I get that. That could drive somebody cuckoo. For real.
Or knowing your stories underneath ground.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine they were breathing in the best stuff either,
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Rhodes had some hallucinogens next to his bed that he was breathing in that he had no idea. That was making it even crazier.
I do like the juxtaposition of those, like this man-made underground base and the rock of the earth. And it's part technology, part ancient, which is what we're doing. We're going backwards.
Yeah.
But there's still, like, humanity's the only thing that's not just instinct, primal instinct. And so, they're trapped in this early man's cave kind of thing. So I don't know.
Yeah,
There's a whole lot of
pushed back
interpretation.
underground, you
Yeah.
know. And I there's a lot going on with this movie. But I was thinking about some of the things. Like one of my favorite set pieces is Miami. So like when they're showing like the alligator walking past the guy, Dr. Tongue, all the opening stuff was, you see that the world is over basically. And then you feel like the group is the last group on Earth, which is something I really like. These are the last people on Earth, and they still can't fucking get along, like we said.
Yeah, I think I read that, like on the trivia, the numbers that Logan throws out, the ratio between the living and the dead,
Mm-hmm.
is that there would only be like 600 people left in the United States by those numbers at this point.
That's insane to think about.
Yeah.
We have 328 million people in this country now. In the 80s, it was a lot less, but think about that. So there's 600. Whew.
We need to start making babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Rhodes' problem was. I think I even said that once. I think Rhodes just needed some sex, and he
They got
probably
one
was
woman,
fine.
and like
Yep.
the effeminate guys got her.
Yeah, and that says a lot though about how they survive. Like, why was there only one woman survive? It's like, how did only one survive? And all this. How many were even there? I always wondered how many different people were there. Yeah.
I mean, really, the whole cast in this one, other than maybe Sarah, is very theatrical and over the top. Very broad acting in this one. I've noticed.
Are you kidding me? Yes,
Very, very
sir.
broad.
Fuck you, sir.
Very much.
All the time.
Very much.
I mean, I wonder where Romero finds some of these people.
Most
Like,
of
I
them
think
were
Joe
theater. I think most of them were local theater people.
Were they?
Pittsburgh.
I was gonna say, I think I had seen Joe Pilato and other things before that took place before Day of the Dead, but like I don't know that I've ever seen Richard Liberty. Is that his name?
Other than the crazies, I haven't.
Yeah.
Really
Other
seen
than that,
anything.
that's the only other thing I could think of ever seeing him. And I thought he was fantastic.
He was
Yeah,
the part.
Yeah.
For the part, he needed to be what he was, and really Rhodes did too. Rhodes needed to sell that. They could have went another way, but the thing is, it is about he sits on such a power trip that he just wants to be fucking heard,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of fits his whole behavior. Yeah. And I think that Gary Clark plays it. I like his character actually, Steele.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you're dead.
Yeah, because he's got this. Like he could have played it that way, but he has a lot of humanity in him. I think a lot of regular guy, even though he's a super soldier kind of guy. There's something underneath what he does in the movie, and I heard him say something about he came up with that last part. He told George his death. He wanted to. Show he's Catholic, that he doesn't want to become one of those things. There's just like this. He's really good at it. I really like his performance in it because it's not
kind of a John Goodman presence to him.
Yeah, I could see that. Like young John Goodman.
Yeah.
Like Revenge of the Nerds era, John Goodman.
Yeah.
I can kind of understand some of the overtop performances. Only because he's sticking everybody down there and you're stuck together for so fucking long. Like, obviously, all these guys are teetering on pins and needles.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I don't know if that's something he went for when he actually was filming it. But in my mind, like, if somebody's been down there for 3, 4, or 5 months, like, you're all going to be acting kind of a little fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's necessary, really, when you look at it, because, like I said, the ones who are grounded are Sarah and John Amplis's character. I don't remember what his name was in the movie, and even the Irish guy and I guess he's Haitian or John, and they're all pretty much they're especially those guys, like the helicopter guy, and what was this? What was the purpose of the Irish guy? What was his like job? Was he a mechanic?
He was supposed to be fixing the radio, I think.
Okay, so he's kind of like an electrician engineer or something like that. He's kind of like it's like what people are talking about now. Like we've got this chaos going on in the world, and everybody's saying, "Yeah," and we've got the Gen X guys, and they're in the middle going, "Hey, chill out, y'all are crazy." Like they're the Gen Xers of this movie right now. But, hey, man, we just want to listen to Nirvana and the Sonic Youth and chill, and we're gonna have our own beach, and we're gonna go down to our place and have fun, and you guys can fight up here. You nerds, and you alpha males can eat each other, literally.
Yeah, literally. What about? Sorry, I'm catching up on the comments. Oh yeah, look at Steele's face when Rhodes tells him to shoot Sarah. He bang, you're dead, and then he didn't know. Yeah,
he was very apprehensive, and then made a joke of it. Yeah,
I wonder if they were more behaved under the last guy, and now it's kind of like, hey, we got a substitute teacher in charge today.
Well, he was probably one of their buddies before that,
Yeah, because he's like Still, and the other dude is just constantly maniacally laughing. And even like, Nicotero and the other guy, they're kind of like, they're just kind of, I guess we'll just do it. I mean, they're kind of, it's almost like they've let their guard down.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not really fully committed to their job, but Rhodes is. Rhodes is the only one who's like still, now that he's in power, but at the same, maybe even the frustrations of, oh, they're not taking me as seriously. So, like, when he tells Steele to shoot her, and he's like, bang, and he's like, nah, I fucking mean shoot her. I'll pull a gun on you. You're not taking me serious. This guy's got something to prove.
Yeah, he does. I don't know if it's... Go ahead, Jared.
No, I was just agreeing with him because, I mean, at the same time, like he was saying, Greg Nicotero and the other guy, they end up getting killed later. They're going along for the ride. And then the Italian guy who just laughs maniacally.
Is that the same guy who put his arm in the fucking blood pressure test from Dawn of the Dead?
Probably.
It looks just like him.
You just kind of get the idea that this entire group is fucking full of misguided guys. But obviously, like Nate was saying, they were obviously... the guy before them must have done something right because everybody is unsure about Rhodes and everything he's deciding to do. They're not going to just drop what they're doing and immediately agree to what he's saying.
Well, Rhodes also throws racism into the problem almost immediately.
Oh, yeah.
By calling out that guy that Sarah is... I don't
Miguel.
Miguel. Like he calls him the S word.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how can you even like want to follow a guy like that?
He's supposed to be part of your own team, and you're talking shit on him.
Exactly, talking shit on him. Why would you want to follow a guy or listen to a guy that just throws that out there? You're the last 10 people on Earth that you know of, and you're just still throwing shit like that out there. He says something about the Flyboy too at some point. So it's like,
he calls him Rhodes
just paints himself into a corner, more and more throughout the movie.
So he's a guy he's just been empowered all of a sudden, and he's pushing it all the way. Like he's somebody who, probably was bullied. He's a kind of got a short man complex type, I think. He's he's this guy that's got newfound power for the first time, and he's going to abuse it. Like if things hadn't ended so quickly when he took power, he would have been that guy who's like the hall monitor type. Like he would have been like trying to enforce every by the book thing just because I say so, kind of thing. Or it's the gallows for you, and you're a traitor. And this guy is a tyrant.
Yeah, you don't follow me, you die. He's like, it's like, dude, he won't be happy till he's the last man on Earth, I guess. And that's the way he was heading.
Yeah.
But he didn't make it. He got fucking pulled apart. Oh.
Thanks for that comment, Scott.
Yeah,
Cheers,
I
buddy.
don't know if you guys saw that. He says he looks forward to seeing us every week. Thank you, Scott. I really do appreciate you following us. Jared, next Thursday we're starting on Thursday. Is that cool?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. So if anybody's wondering, we're gonna start doing the show on Thursdays next week.
Blame me, guys.
Yep. Jared's got to play softball. I don't even know what softball is, but it doesn't sound like fun. But anyway.
I'm going to pull a hamstring, probably.
One thing that's really interesting about this movie is it's kind of well, I guess Dawn has a happy ending, but this one has a true happy ending. Like we see them in paradise at the end, which is really odd because it is the bleakest of the three, in my opinion.
Yeah,
the darkest of the three.
Very much so.
But it has this light, kind of hopeful ending. That the other ones don't. Like, I mean, with Dawn of the Dead, I kind of feel like, yeah, they escape, but I don't have good.
They don't have much gas.
They don't have gas. They don't. I don't think there's a lot of opportunity of more of. They had it good at the mall, and I don't know if they're going to have better days after this. And of course, Night of the Living Dead ends with everybody fucking dead. So.
For some reason, when they end up on that island, I always think of Silence of the Lambs when they offer Hannibal the time to get the spend on the island. At one point, and for some reason, I always think of that. I was like, I wonder if this is the same island that Hannibal's going to end up on.
I think add a new scene where it pans over and you see "Welcome to Jurassic Park." You get talk about dinosaurs.
I mean, Frankenstein almost looks like what's his name?
Talk about Frankenstein. Like, what's his name? George Romero said about Sherman, and I agree with him. He said that Sherman's performance as Bub rivals Boris Karloff's The Monster, and I kind of agree with that. It is a phenomenal performance.
That's fair.
I can't fight against that. He is fucking great in this.
You can say rivals, but you can never say beat. But yeah, for sure, rivals is fucking. That's heavy.
Just look at it. Like, what did he not? His face, everything he does there's so much coming through. That I enjoy watching every frame that he's in.
Yeah, because you care about him. He actually, for a zombie, he gets character development. Every time you see Bub, he's a little bit sharper.
It's not just what's on the page. It's all what he's doing.
Right.
With his face, with his body language, and a lot of those things were his ideas. He came up with the whole Walkman thing. George wanted input because he wanted more Bub in the movie because he liked what he was doing. I always wondered, because I remember him on Seinfeld. I remember on one of the episodes of Seinfeld, but I don't remember seeing him a lot.
No.
But he was really good.
He was in another horror movie, I believe, too. I remember when the trailer for Land of the Dead came out, and when Cholo gets tackled onto the floor, and there's a zombie who opens his mouth. Everybody thought that he was. Well, all the people I knew thought he was Bub. Because I always wonder what happened to Bub.
One of the weird things growing up. What's the guy that played Frankenstein in Monster Squad?
Tom Noonan.
Yes, thank you, Tom Noonan. The way they look in their face was very similar when I was growing up, and it's kind of I'm not saying there's any kind of a connection or anything like that, but it's just. You could literally put their pictures up together and they would look kind of the same.
And there's both, with both of them, too, if you're going to compare, Bub to Frankenstein's monster, they both have a sort of like an innocence to them. Mm-hmm. They don't, like Bub especially. But even with the Frankenstein monster, he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. But I love how wonderfully dark it turns when you see him eating the body, like when he gives them the human meat to eat. It's like, oh, he's still a fucking monster.
Yeah, this is not okay.
Yeah.
I remember what it was. He played Lex Luthor in the Superboy show. That's what it was. Sherman Howard or Howard Sherman.
Keith David Keith.
Yeah, Bub's chilling in Florida with some zombie chicks. I don't know. I wonder if Bub made it out because the elevator comes down and all those zombies descend on everybody. But like, did any of them make it back out? Somebody would have to operate the lift.
Mm-hmm.
They may all just be wandering around in that little cave area down there.
Yeah, they probably wander around the mines.
Yeah, like not knowing where, because I know the mines lead out, but like they also had those fences up to where they can't get in. So who knows? They're probably all still down there, after the fact, during Land of the Dead, I guess, which is a few years later, I suppose. I don't know. Yeah, I think Howard Sherman Howard, like he goes by both. That's why I'm saying it. He goes by both names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know that the movie would work as well without his performance as Bub. Those moments, as like at the end. I mean, like he had a rivalry with Rhodes. Did I say that word right? Rivalry. I said rivalry. What's wrong with me today? My God.
Not revelry, but
yeah,
rivalry.
He had a rivalry with Rhodes that actually we got to see the end of it. And the great part about the scene is he comes like creeping around the corner, and Rhodes just kind of stops it. He stopped in his tracks. It's really good. I don't think. I wonder if that was supposed to be a different zombie that shot Rhodes, or if it was always supposed to be Bub. Yeah, I have no idea. I can't.
That makes sense that it was always Bub.
But if Romero wanted to shoot more with Bub after seeing like the first.
I don't think it was more of. I think more of what he added was more of the character stuff, like the moments between him and Logan, because they had good chemistry, and I mean that's the thing when you see magic happening on set. I've done it when I've seen an actor come on set and they only have like one or two scenes, and I just like them and I like what they're doing. I'm like, I need to go back in here and add them to this scene, because like. I just want to see more of what you're doing because, like, I had an actress on this new one, Ray Hunt, who, in her audition, she just did something where I went, Jesus, I wish I had more in this movie for you, and I ended up writing more stuff into it. Even when we were done, even after I added stuff, I was like, I wish I had more, because you're nailing it, and you're bringing something that I didn't see. And I think that's what, George, if you're a good director, that's what you do. You see what this guy's doing and you see those two guys working together and you're like, this is magic. And we need more of this. Like, we're just going to help our film, giving these two guys more to play with. And I think, I don't know how many scenes, I'd imagine at least 2 scenes probably that we wouldn't have gotten had George not recognized their chemistry and then the magic that was happening between them. Mm-hmm. And those two characters.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It really made the movie what it was. I think when people look at Day of the Dead, I think that's the first thing they remember is Bub, right? And then maybe
that's Rhodes. What I did when I got the job. A Scream Factory would send me a list of all they wanted on the cover, and I had been like Michael Fleischer, who does like Red Shirt. It does all the special features on the Scream stuff. Day of the Dead was like his favorite movie, and I remember him that like he was like dying to get his hands on Day of the Dead. And so I was at Horror Hound. He came by my booth and he said, "So I hear you're doing the Day of the Dead cover," and I'm like, "I am." He spilled the beans. I didn't know. They hadn't told me yet. Wow. So I started thinking about what I would do with it because I was a little intimidated because Romero fans are so rabid. And I don't know, man. So I started thinking about it and I said, to me, out of all the movies, this one has the iconic zombies, recognizable, like especially Bub, but the guy on the table, Dr. Tongue. I mean, they actually have names, And so I said, I don't really want to see the heroes in a collage. I don't want to see all these soldiers. I want to see fucking zombies. So I came up with that design that ended up being the cover. So when they told me, hey, we want you to do Day of the Dead, here's what we want. And it was all the stars. It was like Lori and Sarah and all that. And I said, that's cool, but what about this? And I just sent them a sketch that I already came up with. And they went, yeah, we love that. Let's do that. So, I mean, that's the thing to this movie. It does have great characters, but it's not like Dawn of the Dead to me is about those four people.
Yeah.
As Night of the Living Dead is about those people. Day of the Dead to me is kind of an even playing field between the zombies because there's so many recognizable ones with personalities going on in this one. It's just like Land of the Dead. Land of the Dead has a lot of big personalities, you know, with Dennis Hopper and Asia Argento and all that. But you got, you know, Big Daddy and all those other, you know, characters that really stand out.
Yeah, I think that's the wise choice. I'm gonna bring up your art here in a second. That put the zombies on the cover. I mean, that's what I've said it before, but this is what attracted me even buying any Scream Factories was the art on this. You know, I mean, you have Rhodes though, so at least you have Rhodes on there.
Yeah, he wasn't on there originally, and if I'm gonna put anybody on there, it's gonna be Logan and Rhodes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Logan's up there too.
I get a lot of people like, oh, you put the Croc in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got all the main ones. You got the guy on the table. You even got the helicopter. So I mean, I think you did it justice. Just like Justice League got justice. Just saying.
That was the one I was proud of, definitely. And for a while, they said that was like Jeff Nelson, who runs or was one of the upstarters with it, said that was like his favorite cover that they had done up to a point. I don't know if it still is, but.
No, this one's kind of hard to top. I mean, even better than the Halloween ones. I mean, the Halloween ones are really good, but Day of the Dead was what was that? That was after the Halloween Blu-rays, right?
Yeah, the Halloween were the first two they ever released. Day of the Dead was maybe the 8th or 9th release, Scream Factory, which is amazing how far. It's almost been 10 years. Those came out in 2012. The Halloweens. I don't know how many titles they got now. Probably 200.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, I have over 100 Scream Factories myself, which is excessive. But I don't know. I think Scream Factory is worth it for the most part, except for body bags. The audio is awful on body bags. There's a lot of cracking, or I don't know if that's what it's called, but you know, I'm talking about like.
I didn't have any issues with mine.
What's that?
I didn't have any issues with my copy of that.
I don't know. I don't know about all that. I mean, I stopped going to any Scream Factory had nothing but support for the first year, and then all of a sudden it was they suck and we hate you and we demand this and we demand that. All these artists suck and all this sucks, and I just tuned out. So like people would say, "Hey, are you doing the covers?" Like I didn't even know we're doing that one. Like I just didn't pay attention because it was just got real toxic. Right. And it's like that with every company I've worked with.
Such assholes.
Yeah, you go on the page and it's 50%. Well, it's really 80% just bitching about little things and demanding things. And it's like, you know what? I'm just do the work, turn it in, cash my check.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, there are a couple that I've complained about, but there are reasons like things that you said about certain things that certain artists do that's a no-no, that's lazy, you know, that I've noticed now. But I don't get on their boards like fuck this shit. Really, I buy now for the movie more than the artwork, you know, because there's a lot of these that I don't have the movie, and it's usually better quality. They throw in some extra, the Red Shirt Productions or whatever throws in some good features. But originally it was because of the Day of the Dead art that got me buying, and I was like, oh, look at Halloween 2, look at Halloween 3, holy shit, these look great. You know, now it's not so much about the art. Because Night of the Creeps doesn't have any special art.
They got vicious. And it started like with 4 or 5 guys, and like it didn't matter who the artist was, how good the art was.
Yeah.
You know, they would say it was dog shit. And you shouldn't pay these artists, and it was just I'd have trolls, and was kind of part of that where I just kind of made my page private and kind of really vet everybody now.
Yeah.
Because like someone would friend you and I'd accept it, and all of a sudden it'd just be like, you fucking suck ass, and your howling cover is shit, and like, damn man, thanks. Like, I just gained a friend, and it was like, you know what? No. So yeah.
You should just put up a picture of that VHS that's got the big face of Michael Myers from Halloween 2 and Laurie in one eye. Like, are you sure it's not better than this? I mean, what do you think you got the most shit on?
I remember the first one I got shit on wasn't even my choice. Well, I think it was the Sleepaway Camp cover, because they wanted all the cast on there, and I said,
yeah, all those memorable actors.
Yeah, and I said, well,
yeah, right.
I said, if I do them, it's just going to look like a comedy camp movie. It's like Meatballs or something.
Yeah,
it's not going to look like a horror movie. I was like, are we selling horror, or are we selling Meatballs?
Put Angela on the board laying down all, you know.
Yeah, so I came up with this. I said, well, we got a killer who we know is one of the campers or something. So I was like, what if I had the camper with their head at the top of the thing, so you don't know who it is? You just see a teenager wearing the camp shirt with the weapons, and then you see the cabins and the blood and all that. And it was funny. There was a lot of weird things on that one, because they said, oh, we want to get some of the characters in there. Can you do one with all the characters? So I did one with the characters, and I told them it's going to look like Meatballs. And so they saw it and they go, yeah, it looks like Meatballs. And so can you incorporate both of them? And they just couldn't meet eye to eye on it. And then they actually went to the director and asked his input. And he wanted Angela on the cover. And he goes, I like what he did, but I want Angela's head on there. And I'm like, well, how do I fit Angela's head in this image? So I could only put it where it made sense was center. So it was just weird, because people said, oh, they put her head there over her crotch as a tell. They're spoiling the movie that her head's over the crotch. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It's the only place I could put it composition wise. Like, it wasn't even my choice. I left it off. And then, like, one of the weirdest things was the guy laying dead on the dock had an arrow in him. And the director said, no one in this movie dies with an arrow. Can you change that to an axe? I'm like, hold on, the camp counselor gets an arrow in the neck or something like that. So, but that was one where I got a lot of shit for where her head was, and it wasn't even like I didn't want it there.
Yeah, but it looks like they're coming after her, like she's the Nancy of the movie, if you will. You know.
The other thing is, like, the middle cabin was on fire originally instead of her head there, like a campfire kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Someone said, "Did you intentionally make that a fire crotch joke?"
There's no redheads in this.
No. But that was the first one. And then I got a lot of shit for Night of the Demons because I put Linnea in the center instead of
Amelia Kincaid.
Yeah, and I said, well, isn't Linnea the star, really? I think she's the name of the movie. And, like, it was really more about the visual. Like I said, the lipstick. That was the only note I was given. I want Linnea with the lipstick. And I said, well, like, when she draws on her face with the lipstick, that's a really cool image. I'm like, no, she's not the main. I'm like, well, she's the first one that gets turned, didn't she? Like, I don't know. I said, she's the star. She's what sold the movie.
I mean, plus, I mean, what's the first thing you think of when you think of Night of the Demons? For me, it's the fucking lipstick scene.
Yeah.
I mean, really. And
that was the only note. That was the only note Jeff gave me was I just want Linnea with lipstick, and it goes other than that. And, you know, again, there's always going to be something.
Well, people don't realize that you're commissioned to do these, and usually you have to kind of, like, when I hire somebody to do artwork for, you know, my character, they're always like, well, is there a certain thing you want to see? Is there a certain pose? You know, all this different stuff. It's like, well, yeah, I do have an idea. So you kind of got to go with what, you know, the people who hired you wanted. I mean,
yeah. After a while, I started
getting a fire crotch in there.
Yeah, after a while, I started getting labeled, oh, the kitchen sink artists, and I was like, well, that's what they want. You know, it became kind of the brand look.
Anyway. I mean,
and yeah, so I mean, and that's it. I think, you know, these Scream Factory was about selling to the fans of these movies, people who already love them. They were collector's editions. So, like, to me, the fans want to see the things that they love in those movies. So I tried to fit those little things in there, like the Day of Dawn of the Dead, or Day of the Dead, where you got the crocodile and you got all these little details. Because fans, that's what they love. They know those movies, every inch of those movies. So, like, Night of the Comet, I've got the video game scores in the background and things like that. And those are the little things you try to pick out. Say, if I put that in there, the fans are going to really know what that is.
I did
as opposed to the public.
I did a video a while back of my top 10 favorite Scream Factory covers, and I think that was one of them. It was Night of the Comet.
We got off a Day of the Dead.
Yeah, that happens. That happens.
I don't know. It was good times though. I loved working for them. They were great guys, and I had a lot of fun. It was a dream job because I never thought that we'd see this again because everything had moved to Photoshop and photographs. No one was hiring artists other than Arrow. I think Arrow had gotten there and was doing it, but nobody over here was doing it.
But Arrow doesn't do it as much as Scream Factory. Arrow seems to do special special editions like that, but not as much as Scream Factory. Most Scream Factory collector's editions have a special, sleeve or whatever they call it.
Cover.
Yeah, I swear I did the Scream Factory, but I can't find it though. I was going to put it in the comments. I'm pretty sure a couple of yours are on there because you were one of the people who did the most Scream Factory covers, weren't you?
I'd say Osborne and Robinson probably passed me up at one point. I did 20. I did 20. But like I said, even some of the really great artists like Paul Shipper would get shit on. I mean, that guy's like the modern Drew Struzan, really is. Again, people like what they like. I mean, it was always, and what was the funniest thing about it was like they would just keep the original art. Well, the original art was always on the flip side. You're getting both. Like, what do you care? And then they would get the assholes who were like have to comment. Well, when I get it, I'm going to be flipping it to the original art. Thanks. I'm going to put that in my bio that I'm writing about you.
Shit.
Everybody needed to know how you put them on your shelf.
My top 3, Nate, are Halloween 3, Night of the Comet, and Day of the Dead. So, yeah, those are all yours.
Yeah.
And I don't do it just because
you can't forget Shocker. Come on, you can't forget Shocker.
I did.
Like Shocker.
I'll forget Shocker forever.
I like the Shocker one because they let me break the habit of the collage. Because I was like, I don't want to do another collage. I'm tired of doing this pyramid composition thing we have to do all the time.
What is it, People Mountain or Human Mountain or whatever?
Yeah.
If anybody cares, I put the link to that video, my top 10 Scream Factory arts. But spoiler alert, Nate has 4 of them, I think. Yeah. So check it out if you can. If not, whatever. So Day of the Dead. How did we get so sidetracked? I don't know. It's not that big of a deal to me.
I think you did it.
It just happens.
That was. I think
you did it, Ray.
I don't mind because it's like it was such an honor to do a George Romero Dead film. Like, I really took that seriously. Like, I knew that's big. I mean, as a horror fan, I never did hear from George. I mean, I've heard from like Joe Dante and Wes Craven and Stuart Gordon actually came up to me at a show. So there have been a few, but no, I never heard anything about Romero's reaction. But just to be able to do that one, to work with some on these films like that for these directors that I admire so much, to do a Dead film and one of the 3 first Dead films was pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you could pick your pick of the three, though, which one would you want to do?
Oh, I'd do Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. Why don't you just do that anyway in your spare time?
I've done it for Fright Rags. I think I've done one or two
Your own personal piece.
Fright Rags shirts.
All I want is a picture of in that fucking mink coat. That's what I would want.
That's all I want. I want a T-shirt of Ken for in his mink coat.
In a mink. Yeah, I want either that or him as Bubba from what was that movie? Beyond From Beyond. You know, when he gets eaten by the whatevers.
Oh my god!
You know what I'm talking about?
He's just a skeleton.
Yeah, they made a comment about how like burly of a guy he is, and then he gets reduced to that. I love that movie.
And he's still alive too, right? He's like,
he's like, yeah.
It reminds me of like
he would have been a good Candyman.
Garth Marenghi, where a guy explodes and he's just like pieces in a head. And he goes, "It really hurts. I don't think I'm gonna make it."
So Scott Montgomery surprises me. He says Night of the Comet is the best in the world movie ever.
I love that movie. I actually requested that one, like, because I watched that so much as a kid.
Me too.
And when they announced that, I said, "I want to do Night of the Comet." And they go, "Well, that's a weird one, so we're going to give it to you." And I just adore that movie. Like, if people have actually, like, if you were to remake a movie, I'd say Night of the Comet would be fun to remake, because it was just this. I remember seeing that as a kid for the first time, and it was just like, whoa! That may be my first zombie movie, actually. Honestly, that I can think of, because I saw that before Return of the Living Dead. That could be my first zombie movie.
Is it really a zombie movie though? You think?
Yeah,
I guess
they're zombies. I mean, they're like dying or half dead, or they're attacking the living. It's essentially a zombie film. I mean, it really is. It follows the formula.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I guess the bum, the cop. It's got a little bit of everything.
I got nothing on that movie. I got nothing.
Also, note the zombies in that movie are a lot of them. I think the cop, a lot of that's unused Freddy Krueger makeup that David Miller, he did both films, and some of the designs that were rejected for Freddy, he used in Night of the Comet, if I remember right.
Really? That's awesome.
Yep.
You know so much weird stuff.
It's my job.
And not that it's not weird, but it's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Not weird. Seth, have you not seen Night of the Comet?
What's that?
Have you seen Night of the Comet?
I have not.
Oh man! So is that why you have no comment, Jared? You haven't seen it?
Must be. I mean, look, check it out.
That picture right there is a black.
Why? Why?
I don't know.
They're just shooting the car.
Last time I saw it,
I would say it's a great movie.
It's
when people say what's your guilty pleasure movie, I say Night of the Comet. But remember, I was 8 when it came out, and it was just so. There was nothing like that movie when I was 8 years old. When it where there's a comet in the atmosphere, the sky turns orange, and everybody turns into dust, and you're like with this valley girls, and they're going shopping, and there's like. It's just like Devo attacking them or something. It's like all this weird shit happening.
Oh, please.
And then you got like Jeffrey Lewis and the government. And it's just a weird, bizarre, unique movie that it was just one of those weird early 80s movies, that time is, if you watched it a lot, it's like Beastmaster and My Science Project and all these little movies that a lot of people don't know about because they weren't big mainstream movies. But if you had cable, in the early 80s, you saw these movies again and again and again and again. So I saw Night of the Comet on loop all the time because it was always on.
It was always on like HBO or something like that. Like not every day, but I was gonna say this one is one for me for
Chopping Mall.
Shopping Mall. Seth, you ever seen Shopping Mall?
Yeah.
Shopping Mall.
Dude, shopping mall's the shit, and the cheerleaders in that too.
Oh my God! Come on. Okay, so
Sorry.
yes, I saw that movie probably 2 or 3 years ago and did
Which
not
one?
really up.
Shopping mall.
For the first time, Night of the Comet.
Yes, not the comment for the first time.
Well, I can imagine that because it's not a good movie.
I mean, honestly, had I saw it when I was a kid, like a lot of the movies that we love so much, I would have found it probably a lot better. But
Now you understand how I feel about Shocker.
Yeah,
what?
I love.
I didn't see Shocker till I was older, and I
Yeah.
didn't care for it. And you're like, oh,
That's fair.
yeah. I
That's-
love Night of the Comet, and I could never get into Shocker because I didn't see it till I was in my maybe 30s.
Yeah, Shocker's a bit silly if you're looking at it today for the first time as an adult.
I watched
Sure.
it with Elizabeth. I got the DVD. This was actually not that long after I started the Horror Syndicate. I got the DVD and I'm watching it, and she kept, "What the fuck is this shit we're watching?" I don't know. I don't like it though.
Peter Berg, future director, is in this movie. What is he doing?
Yeah. But I did buy the Shocker Scream Factory just because it's got Nate's artwork. I told Nate next time I see him, I'm going to bring every single slip that I have of, from his Scream Factories and have him sign them all. And you're doing it. No ifs, ands, buts, or anything. You're going to watch Shocker tonight? Do you have it? Shocker's not that bad. It's just, it's like so 1989. I mean, if that's a thing. Am I wrong?
You definitely can't go into it expecting too much.
Yeah.
Fallen ripped it off. And Jason goes to hell, ripped it off.
Oh, Shocker's on HBO Max, apparently.
Am I wrong?
Man, I haven't seen Fallen in forever.
I guess it kind of does.
Because in Shocker, you know, like they know it's Horace because he's limping, because Horace has a limp, and
Right.
And Fallen is because he's singing the Rolling Stones song all the time.
Yeah. That's an underrated movie too. Would you call Fallen a horror movie?
That's probably thriller. I think it falls into thriller.
Definitely thriller.
But it's supernatural at the same time, right?
Yeah, because he just touches somebody and it passes along.
I kind of feel like a supernatural movie is not a thriller. It should be a genre. It should be considered horror if it's supernatural.
I may have Fallen in my horror collection, so if it is, that means it's horror.
That's a good point. I think I would put that in my horror collection.
Yeah, I think it is, because I remember when that came out, it was kind of terrifying to think that if you're trying to find somebody, they can merely touch somebody and you become somebody else, right? So, Fallen is the shit.
I smell a Shocker show coming on.
You guys are gonna force me to watch it, aren't you?
We should do a commentary, an audio commentary.
All right, well, hold on. Let's see how long it is. I'm sure it's less than 90 minutes.
About an hour and 40 minutes.
If that movie turns out to be 2 hours. Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen real fast because I typed in Shocker and
I don't know if I want to know what it showed up.
Don't worry, it's not. It's just. It's just.
I want to ring the demon bell on the show.
Yeah.
Demon bell.
So there it is. That's what came up. Of course, there is one Shocker on there. What was this, 1989?
Yep.
There we go. Oh, because I'm on images. That's why that happened. Yeah, 1989. Wes Craven.
Looks like you watch free on Hulu right now.
Let's see. Oh, it's 110 minutes. Might be one of those days that Nate has more time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'd be down for a Shocker.
Shocker.
You know, that soundtrack had one of the first super bands, Paul Stanley on guitar and vocals, and then Mr. Motley Crue on drums, Tommy Lee.
Was this?
What was it? The Dudes of Wrath or something like that? Was it was?
Yep.
Yeah.
What a great name, Dudes of Wrath. It's no better than the damn Yankees. You remember those guys?
Oh yeah, that's a. Can you take me higher?
Yeah.
I love the. You ever hear Pat
Totally.
Oswalt joke about that video?
No.
He said the video where Ted Nugent, like they're surrounded by cops and the cops are shooting, and Ted comes out and starts playing, and the bullets are deflecting. He goes, he's deflecting the bullets with the power of his rocking. It's just,
I'll have to watch that video again. I haven't heard it in a long time. That is currently on my playlist. Okay, I like that song. Have you seen Shocker?
Oh yeah, I own the Scream Factory Blu-ray. I showed it to Amber when I got it a couple years ago. She didn't like it.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. But if you didn't see the movie at the time, like right around when it came out, I mean, Jared pointed out, Night of the Comet, me with Shocker, it just doesn't work for, I think if you see it when you're an adult. Like
it didn't work for a lot of people in 1989 either. It didn't. But it really came at the down spiral of slasher films,
right.
And it was Wes trying to make another Freddy Krueger, and that ship had sailed. Like it just wasn't going to happen, and they had turned funny by then. And there's Shockers. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Jared? It's kind of a brutal film. Like he's a brutal bastard, but it's
for
goofy.
The first 2/3 of the movie, yeah.
But it's goofy at the same time, so it doesn't really balance well because it's like, what does it want to be? Does it want to be Freddy's dead, or does it want to be Maniac, or what does it want to be?
Freddy's dead, canon. I mean, and then think about the year it came out, 1989. We had some of the worst sequels. I mean,
I said this year they died.
Dream
man.
Child came out. Yeah,
this
it must
year
have
the
been.
slashers died, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. Revenge of Michael Myers was awful. Jason Takes Manhattan is probably, in my opinion, that's the best one of all of them. Just kidding. But I mean, that was the year. Yeah, I think you're right. 1989, the year the Shocker died. The year the slasher died. Because after that's when they started getting. I mean, Candyman came out in 92. Night of the Living Dead remake was 90, which was phenomenal, in my opinion. Although Chucky hung on for a while. Chucky had another couple years in him.
Yeah, he was new though. He was still fresh, but he was also funny. There was comedy. It was comedy had come in after Jason Lives. They all went that way, and they pushed it even further and further to the point where they were no longer scary, and they just kept pushing the envelope. And it was like, after a while, you're like, "This, why am I watching this?" It's like they're really scraping the barrel at this point. And they were rushing them. They didn't care about the quality. It was like, let's get another one out before it's gone, before the well's dry. Let's keep going.
And that's why people nowadays are like, well, they used to make these once a year. It's like, why can't they do that now? Well, I mean, they were shitting them out literally back then. I mean, it's like I'll never forget. They said that they had the poster before they even had the script for Nightmare 4. I don't remember who said that, but somebody said that, and that's probably how it was going. They were like, they knew they were going to make another one. And let's get this into production, because there's one of them. I can't remember if it's a Friday the 13th movie or if it was a Nightmare on Elm Street that came out less than a year after the last one was released. It may have been Friday the 13th. That makes more sense, because those are just
none of those were cash cows. They were all heart.
Yeah, all heart.
They didn't make Jason Takes Manhattan for money.
No, that's an art house film.
They didn't send Pinhead to space for money.
Right.
It's like
or Jason
or Leprechaun or whatever.
Yeah. When's Freddy? Freddy can be in space too, can't he? He's not confined to
only filmmakers today do everything for money.
Right. That's what Nate does. He's making his movie for money. Hey, Luke asked if you're in post-production yet.
Getting there. I got like 3 days of shooting left. I mean, it's post-production. I've been editing all the way through it. So once it's wrapped, shooting-wise, then I just got to go in and make my final cut, send it off to score, do some ADR, do any like digital stuff I need to do to like change signs or whatever, and then the color correction. So it'll be depending on availability of like composers, you know, it'll be pretty fast going because the movie's cut. I was just cutting earlier today, about an hour ago, to the new stuff we shot. So
It's his rough cut is 3 hours and 12 minutes right now.
yeah, about an hour less, but.
When are we gonna get to see it? I'm talking about we.
And you come to the drive-in where we premiere it. That's what we're going to premiere it at the drive-in.
That's impossible, and you know that.
There's gas.
You mean you're not going to let one of us review your movie with a screener that we can pass around to the rest of the team?
All you people wanting your free screeners.
Yeah,
or a copy of the free screener.
I'll give you a review.
What drive-in are you going to show? Are you really showing it at a drive-in?
Yeah, we're going to show it at Georgetown Drive-In in Georgetown, Indiana, which we shot at too. The owner's in it. The drive-in's in it. So why not? My producer Ken has had a relationship with them for years. They would do Fandom Fest and Fright Night Film Fest. That's where I got this. First time I saw Kane Hodder was there. He brought a copy of Hatchet and Friday 13th 7, was signing autographs there, and they do that every October. They show horror and they'll bring celebrities. They did like a Happy Days and American Graffiti with people from Happy Days and American Graffiti, like Henry Winkler and all that. Like they do all kinds of cool things. Every Halloween they'll have like a Michael Myers come out, and I actually have done it twice, driven with Michael Myers in a replica of the station wagon as they wave to the crowd. This year they had
last Halloween, didn't you?
Yeah, they had last year they had the kid who played Michael in H2, Rob Zombie's movie, and the other time I did it, they had Casey Hendershot who doubled for Tyler in the first Rob Zombie. But they've had Dick Warlock out there, they've had Charles Cyphers, they've had I think Nick Castle, John Carpenter. They've been out there, and they've all signed the car. The autographs are on the side of the car.
That's really cool.
Dick Don Shanks. And Tommy Lee Wallace. Almost all of them are on there. I'm
going to sign the car just for the hell of it. I'm a Halloween fan.
And the car's in the movie, too.
That drive-in's only 3.5 hours from me. Depending on when it is, maybe I could go and could treat me like a guest of honor. We have a guest of honor all the way from St. Louis. He's not really important, but
well, you come out there, you broadcast Horror Syndicate live from the show.
That would be kind of cool. Would you have an idea of when you're going to plan on doing that? Because I'm just going to say, Jared is talking about coming out here. Maybe we could take a little road trip, Jared, and go see Nate's movie at the drive-in. How cool would that be?
I don't want to say.
I don't want to leave you out, Seth, but I know how impossible it is because you live in the fucking, the ass end of the other side of the world, basically.
I think I would like to release the movie in August or September, like right before Halloween season.
Hey, I mean, we could be fully vaccinated all by then.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. Yeah, by September, we should all be looking fairly, hopefully good. But we still want to do it the drive-in because it's the movie's set in '86. The drive-in's in the movie,
right?
So
Luke said he and his wife are going to make the road trip up to see it. So there you go. Maybe we'll just have a big horror syndicate fest during your movie. We're here to see a movie. Don't worry about that. Come say hi to Ray from the horror syndicate. He's not important. I want to go. I think I'm going to try to make that. Let me know when. Don't keep it secret, okay?
Oh,
I know you don't post much on your Facebook, so
I never post on there, but I'll try.
Anyway, okay, so let's wrap it up for the night. It's been fun. I like just hanging out talking anyway. I if anybody watches, they can get a sense of that we're not just
just talking about me.
Oh, Nate,
the last
such
half
a
hour.
great artist and good movies and everything. Oh man, so let's do final thoughts on Day of the Dead, I guess. Jared, you start.
So Ray, you kind of actually mentioned it kind of at the beginning of the episode how this was your favorite, but not necessarily the best.
No, the best, but not my favorite. Dawn of the Dead is my favorite.
Okay, strike that.
I think is his best movie. It's the darkest. It's got the best effects, and I think the story is the best.
Which I
Dawn of the Dead's my
kind of
favorite.
agree with. Like,
Yeah.
you realize he did all these within like 25 years. Like, you have the one in 68, and then 77,
8.
and then 85, 70, 78, whatever.
Good
Fucker.
man. Hey, people look up to us to know this stuff.
God damn it. Okay. Either way, so you're doing a zombie movie in 3 different freaking decades.
Yeah.
He made an incomplete evolution every time. Like,
Yeah.
in my opinion, Night of the Living Dead's probably the best of all of them. Dawn of the Dead's my favorite.
You'd be wrong.
Day of the Dead like blows them all out of the water, effects wise, not necessarily acting wise or anything like that, but like Tom Savini with his little puppeteering guy named Greg Nicotero, who's made a name for himself now, but you know, like their work in Dawn of the Dead blows everything out of the water of the other 2 movies. But I think George Romero's did a really good job of like, basically you're starting from something that literally costs nothing to a little bit more, and at the same time, he was literally spending not that much money making these amazing fucking movies. And that's what we got to go for. But yeah. So my best is Night. My favorite's Dawn. The best, maybe Day. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of up to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be different for everybody. I'm messaging our group real fast, just so I don't forget. And I can't spell commentary. Fuck it. Seth, what about you for final thoughts? Well, there's my jeans.
I love Day of the Dead. I think it's great. It's not one of my favorites in the series. The effects are definitely probably the best in the series. I would agree with that.
Even better than Land,
took,
right?
What's that?
You think you're even better than Land?
I don't know. I like Land and Day pretty much equally for me. I know it's not really. I know a lot of people don't really care for Land too much, but I love that movie.
Yeah, I like it.
And you know, I'm definitely curious. You know, what Day of the Dead would have been if they shot his original script, which I got to read that sometime.
Much darker, right?
Yeah, I think he took some of the stuff from that and put it for Land of the Dead. But yeah, no, I George Romero is like one of my favorite filmmakers. He always has been. So I definitely, I don't know. I watch his movies a lot. But Day of the Dead is definitely a great movie. And I'm just repeating myself, so back to you.
All right, well, that's fine. You repeat yourself.
Yeah,
a little bit. Now, remember, next week we're talking about Wolfen. No, I'm joking.
That's what.
Nate, did you get your movies from the Warner Brothers thing? I got mine yesterday.
I haven't, because I guess because I had a few that were they have to make them. So I got like
really?
I got Suburbia and a few other movies that haven't been ever released on DVD or Blu-ray.
I haven't seen Suburbia in forever.
Yeah, I got the VHS over here. Like, that's all I ever had. I haven't seen it since I watched it on there last.
You have to thank Keith for telling us about this sale.
Yeah, definitely. Because I got about 5 movies, I think, and 3 of them I think were like not available. Like One Crazy Summer, I think, was one of the ones they had to make.
I wish that sale was still going so I could get that. I forgot that was on there.
Yeah, but I got a message saying it was going to be a while because they were so overwhelmed by the orders they got.
They were giving Wolfen away. They were like,
were they just giving it away?
Plenty of these.
Hey, give us a nickel.
Yeah.
Give us a penny. Whatever. That sounds like slang for a money. Little Albert Finney.
He's a good actor.
Oh yeah.
Day of
The I don't know. I still love the first two more, but I do like I love. It's definitely the third best of them for me.
Do they go in descending order for you? Like Knight's the
No,
best?
Don's my favorite. I mean, there's pros and cons of all three. Like
Very subjective, yes.
Night visually has some really interesting framing and shots, and for its time, it's actually really impressive. The cinematography and the shots that George got, innovative. I've always liked siege movies where some like the people's trapped in a house with a threat outside is always a fun time, you know. So it's got that going for it, and it's just it's the first. It changed cinema in many ways. It changed independent film. It changed the genre, and it introduced a monster to the genre that we didn't have before. And Dawn was just this huge film with so much fun, total almost opposite, with really like it takes its time. It's more patient. It's over a course of a long time, to the part where we kind of love these people and care about them more. And because there's only 4 of them, we're more intimate with them. And then it's just expanded everything. And it's the whole. It's like he was ahead of his time, because the 80s was really about consumerism and all that, whereas that's what Dawn of the Dead is doing. But they has this thing. I think Day's made by a seasoned team and a seasoned filmmaker. Like Night was his first time making a feature, whereas you see there's good filmmaking in Dawn of the Dead, but there's also some kind of sloppy filmmaking in Dawn of the Dead in the editing. But Day of the Dead feels more refined naturally because he'd done it a bunch by this time. And his team, like, he made those 3 movies in a row, right? He made Night Riders and Creepshow and this in a row, probably with the same guy, same team. And so when they moved into Day of the Dead, they were like a well-oiled machine and probably knew each other well. So it was all working. And then you have Savini at the height of his talents. Like this and Texas Chainsaw 2 the next year, I think, are kind of Savini's best work. And I don't know. You can rank them either way. I mean, there's some people who love this one the most, and they're not wrong. They're all 3 got something different and off. That's what's really great about them. Even Land of the Dead, like you said, I agree. Land of the Dead is probably just hurt by nostalgia. People like by then were adults who had grown up with George and were nostalgic for Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead and that's not what it was, because George moved with the times as well. Those 3 movies still feel like small movies, whereas Land of the Dead felt more like the studio production almost in some ways. It felt like a bigger film than that we were used to seeing. Because George, like, even once you watch Day of the Dead, it still feels a little dated. Like, even Night of the Living Dead, as innovative as it was, it still felt like old film. Like, still felt like the film of the era before 1968.
Right.
But with an edge to it. It was a little different. So, man, I mean, what can we say? We said that George Romero is a one of a kind. He's an important guy as an independent horror filmmaker. I think he stands alone in many ways, because he did stay true to himself and his heart, and it was real important to him to do that and to keep his team. The fact that he got to cast the people he wanted to, he didn't have stars pushed on him for Day of the Dead and things like that. He's loved for a reason, and I think that's what it is. He's a rebel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I like Day of the Dead quite a bit, but it may be the effects and the story. And I do like movies when they're kind of bleak. Like that's why I like The Beyond so much, the Fulci film. And it might also be why I like Wolfen so much. Wolfen is just a really good. No, okay, I'm done with that.
You can get it for a
But,
penny.
It is a good movie.
but anyway, yeah. So I guess next week we're wrapping up our Romero verse zombie month with. We're going to talk a little bit about all those, unless we come up with a better topic. I don't know. Land of the Dead, Survival of the Dead, Diary of the Dead. I mean, really. There's not much to be said for me for Survival of the Dead. It's not very good. It's extremely boring. Like just like listening to me talk for about an hour and a half. And then I thought Diary of the Dead was okay. It was cool, especially that scene with the what is he called? The Dutch guy or whatever, where he takes the fucking sickle and kills his own head. That was cool. Yeah.
And Dutch Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania Dutch. But yeah, so hopefully next week we'll have a good show starting our Thursday show, and then next time Nate has vacation, we'll do a shocker commentary. Not the commentary on that shocker, but what's his name? Horace Pinker, something like that.
Yeah,
that's another
Pinker.
problem with
Horace
a better name.
fucking Pinker.
That's such a terrible name. In my opinion. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. If you're not, then whatever. You're on Facebook then. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next Thursday. Don't forget, we will not be here on Tuesday, and we're going to be talking about no. Have a good evening. We'll see you next week.